Today's A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, the podcast, is brought to you by blah, blah, blah.
Was not even,
I don't know.
Why'd you do Dracula?
Okay.
Why?
Full transparency. The first time I did it, I did like a powerful businessman, and then I messed it up, right? I didn't have my equipment running correctly. Then the second time I did it, I said, well, Bart Merrick's on the line. Let him eat cake. Give him a vampire.
Okay.
He
doesn't want the vampire.
He loves the vampire. I have it under good authority. What did you think, Bart? Did you like the vampire?
It was a fantastic vampire.
Okay, thank you. See, on the line with us now is Bart Merrick, and he will help you from the vampires from sucking the money out of your home. That's horrible. That was horrible.
It's the Bart Merrick team, BartTheRealtor.com. How you doing, Bart?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Good. So I saw on the news, it popped up on my phone.
Did he? Oh, my God.
It was right underneath that ad. Yeah. And then it said the Fed dropped the rate. I clicked on it. It said I had to pay $14.95 to read the article, and I moved on. And so, but I imagine that means the interest rates are dropping. What say you, Bart?
They are dropping. I think they peaked last October, and it's interesting because last October it was completely dead for Crystal and I. Like, we had no business coming in. Since then, it's definitely picked up, and rates have come down. I think rates are in the low sixes. I think they're right about 6 right now.
Okay.
And you can tell the difference between where we were at last year and where we're at now. And, the rates, from everything I hear, it sounds like it's going to continue to drop. So I expect going into the next couple of months, you'll probably see rates come down into the 5s would be my guess. And I do think that once we get somewhere in the mid-5s, we'll probably see kind of what I call an unlocking, where you'll start to see more people where now it becomes feasible to, you had a 3.5% loan and now you can get one at 5.5%, and the difference isn't so much that it makes such a huge difference that you won't move anymore. There's a lot of people out there that have those low rates, and once the rates come back down, they'll naturally come out and start putting their house up for sale because there's been a lot of people over the last couple of years who probably have wanted to move who just couldn't, or not they couldn't, but they're just kind of stuck because they have this really good mortgage. And now as rates come down, you'll probably start to see more of those people start to put their houses up for sale, and that'll have an effect probably going into next spring is probably where we'll see the most of that.
When I got married, my wife was a low 6, and, and as we age, she's a 5.
So Bart, so this means it's basically the competition is going to be greater, but also there's going to be more houses for sale. Like the whole market is going to just become a lot larger, correct?
Yeah, I think there'll be more homes for sale. There'll probably be more buyers and more sellers out there in the marketplace. The two kind of go hand in hand. You kind of need one for the other as well. But there's increasing inventory coming into the market now, so there's more choices for buyers out there, and rates are coming down from where they've been at. So, yeah, there'll just kind of naturally be more inventory, more buyers out there. And I think it'll probably be, at the moment, I don't want to say it'll be fairly balanced. It doesn't feel like it's lopsided anymore. It does feel like what's coming on is matching up for what the buyers are out there. So it's a good time for actually both sides of the market.
My wife is lopsided. my wife's breasts are lopsided.
And if someone does want to sell their house next year, they should talk to you guys now, correct?
Yeah, give us a call. We actually just had an appointment yesterday. We went out, met with a BDM at his house, walked around, gave him some ideas on what he can do to prep. She's thinking about selling going into next spring. And the spring is typically where we do most of our business. It's usually between somewhere around March to about June is where the market is. So if you're thinking about next year when rates are coming down lower, you want to sell your house and go buy something else, have us come out, sometime between now and then. Walk around the house with you, give you some ideas on things you can do, and get you ready for next spring.
Get the plan.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, it's the Bart Merrick team, Bart Merrick, Crystal Van. You can go to BartTheRealtor.com. Their cell phone numbers are on the front page. Text them, call them anytime. Yeah. Bart, thanks so much for talking to us.
Awesome, guys. You have a great day.
You too, man. It's the Bart Merrick team.
Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast.
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday Free Show of A Mediocre Time.
It is another Friday Free Show of A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. Oh, my siren is working. It is TV Friday. I finally have recovered from the Tom and Dan Cruise 2024, which sucked the soul out of me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I have had a messed up stomach for an entire, the whole Dennis family. The whole Dennis family has what we call the fudge shits.
Yeah. Cruise belly.
Yeah, even Maisie calls them fudges. She's like, oh, I've got the fudges.
Well, it's just me and Daniel today. It's old school Friday.
Old school, yes. Two grumpy old men yelling at you.
Yeah. So, speaking of the cruise, it's funny because I had a client on Monday ask, like, oh, you're back from your cruise vacation. You guys rested up and ready for the week? And I'm like, rested?
How you feeling? How you feeling?
Like, this is not a rest scenario.
No.
This is like gluttony boot camp. If you were had to go to the gluttony or the glutton army, and this is the weekend.
This
boot
is like
camp
VH1's Fat Camp.
Well, the opposite.
My ass is raw, like from the toilet paper on the boat. And then Maisie even said she wanted to start bringing her own toilet paper. Like the dentist says we have delicate heinies. So I have some hemorrhoid action going on. I got the fudge stomachs going on. I'm back into working out again. I didn't do it on the boat.
And you know what was happening every night? Like we go to dinner, Tommy and Max are sitting there, and then Tommy will try things. Max, he knows. He's just like, I take plain pizza, please.
2 cheeses, please.
And then Tommy's like looking at the menu. He's like, maybe I'll try the grouper. And then Chris is like, oh, the grouper. He wants to. And then I'm like, I want to yell. He's never going to eat that. They're going to bring it here. He's going to.
You do like limiting what your sons do, right? Yeah, because you know what's best. Daddy knows best.
But I hold my tongue because Crystal will get mad. He's like, he has to try things. Well, she's right.
He fucking hated it, didn't he?
Of course he moves it around. It's okay. Yeah. And then I'll eat that. So I was eating 2 dinners a night, and then the drinks,
salt, all the salt.
Yeah. And then the cruise bed's fine. But
mine wasn't.
But if some people I've said like, oh, I love the cruise, but like people were acting like the cruise bed was better than their bed at home, and I'm like, you have made some wrong decisions.
Yeah. Also, we do live at a time where, and I'm one of these people too, where if I hear you having a bad time, I will switch my time to a good time to make you counteract. Yeah.
No. Everybody had a good time. We had a great time.
It was a great time.
It is. It's a weekend party that we talk with friends and listeners. And, me and Daniel were talking about this, like, and we talked about it a little bit on the BDM show.
Are we going to do it again? It's the number one question I've been getting, and I know you hate it because
I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
We don't know.
When we said maybe one more time, this last one, we were telling the truth. We don't know.
That is the, maybe you guys didn't, maybe we should have beat you over the head with it a little bit more. That is the reason why it's called Cruisin' Baby One More Time. Seriously. That is the real reason why it's called that.
So, and the answer is maybe if some really good deal comes up that makes sense, because me and Daniel said this, like, we believe like the Tom and Dan Cruise is a good value with the unlimited free drinks and the Wi-Fi and it's like and for the price and then the parties we put together, it's a good, and we're not going to do it unless it's a good value for the people going.
Correct.
Right? Because we're doing it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's why we do
100%.
it. So we all have a good time. But anyway, there's people that me and Daniel have cruised with, have hung out with for 20 years that we see on the cruise, especially like out of town BDMs. So why me and Daniel are so tired is like, and I know this is like this for both of us, but you see people you haven't seen in a couple years, and then you go and you want to catch up.
Yeah.
So then you're catching up with dozens and dozens and a couple hundred people that you haven't seen in a while, and it's just the amount of partying and drinking and eating is a lot.
It's a mind it's like a thought suck. Almost, or like an inner. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I've never been more tired than, and I didn't.
It is
like
tiring.
That day that we did the live podcast, the one that, and I did contribute. I feel like to BDM Justin who visited us this week. I think I did contribute to him almost having to go to the brig or whatever, because he sat out there with me with other listeners, and we did drink from like 8 a.m. till like 1 p.m.
Yeah,
Like just talking the entire time.
Yeah.
So
I came and sat at that table, and then
like you kind of took over for me. Like I kind of went out, and then you were there with and then you kind of took over.
And then people were, so it's just like, it's fun seeing everybody, and thank you guys for coming. And
it was awesome,
cool.
y'all.
It was cool seeing everybody, and I'm very grateful that people have been listening to us for this long.
Yeah.
Well,
they followed your career. I mean, we had some people on there that only knew you because of our, former morning show jobs.
Yeah.
They knew you before, you were even doing podcasting. They knew me when I was just like a small producer on a morning show. And then they've followed us the entire time, and they choose to spend their money on our cruise. Are you fucking kidding me? That's amazing, dude. It blows my mind. Like sometimes, you and I were talking about it this morning. We've never sat back and actually looked at this and been like, you know what? Fuck, man. We really, we do think about it, but we don't articulate it maybe enough. Where we say, thank you guys. It's amazing that I can say, as I sit here, 29 years, I realized that on the boat. 29 years of broadcasting in this town, and now, across the globe is crazy. And then for 29 years.
There's listeners that were on that cruise that have listened for at least, you started Ed Till, but at least Drew Garabo days.
Well, the Kansas City folks, and I'm blanking on their name right now, the ones that, you call him the Bud Heavy Man.
Bud Man.
Bud Man. We love Bud Man. He has been listening the entire 29. He will make it to He will make it to me next year. 30 years of broadcasting.
He'll listen till you die, which would be awesome.
It would be pretty
if
awesome.
It happened on the show,
on the boat. Yeah,
and then he was like, "I listened to him live and die." 48 years. Anyway,
same thing happened to Vern Troyer.
Yeah.
You guys got to listen to him. He
watch it. Pee in the corner of.
You see him carrying a Subway sub on his lark, and he's dead. He's dead.
Also, I am.
Raise your hand if you watch Vern Troyer's porno. Raise your hand if you watched it.
Well, you made me watch it at the radio station.
I watched the full thing,
and I was a young boy at the time. You made a young boy watch
porno. I was like Different Strokes.
And also, I'm aware that we live in a day and age that there are unlimited options of podcasts to listen to, and you choose us, so thank you.
It's super cool, man.
I am well aware that you could listen to anything you want from anybody. You want to listen to your neighbor's podcast?
You can listen to him.
It's about eating dogs. but I'm just saying, you could look at a show and you're like, I want to listen to this guy's podcast. He's got one. Every celebrity's got one. Every
politician has one.
So it's like, we appreciate it. Anyway, so also I want to talk about, I watched Thursday Night Football last night. It was one of the most boring games I've ever seen.
I really only watch Thursday Night Football to lean over to my wife and say, that's Carissa Thompson. Google her. You can Google her with cum in her vagina.
Come on.
It's out there. Can't put the paste back in the tube.
And Aaron Rodgers played well.
He did.
They won easily.
Everybody thought that he was fighting Mr. Clean on the sidelines because he ran up and did what old men do. They're both old men. Well, one of them's an old man.
Yeah.
What Aaron Rodgers
is
did.
Aaron Rodgers older than Saleh?
He's got to be.
Maybe. No, Saleh's older.
He's 42, right? Aaron Rodgers, 41?
I thought he was just 40.
He might be 40.
Yeah.
I always think of you, though, because he's right around your age.
Yeah, I think he's 40.
But he did do what old men do when they think they're cool, where you run up to another old man and you push his chest and you're like, yeah, motherfucker. You do like it was 2-score lead, motherfucker.
But Crystal did,
he's 40, you're correct.
At the end of the game, they're interviewing Aaron Rodgers, and Crystal's like, he looks like Richard Lewis from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Who just died, by the way. Oh, my God. I know. R.I.P.
Because he does.
Oh, Richard Lewis. Oh.
What's funny about Aaron Rodgers is he's younger than Brady, but Brady looked young. Yeah. He looked great. He still does for his age, right? Because he's got a bunch of fucking work,
He looks amazing.
But Aaron Rodgers let himself go, old man, and I think he's leaning into it. Like, he doesn't even try to paint his beard. Like, this gray beard.
No.
He also looks like his pads and his helmet is baggy.
They look like a Trump suit, right? It's like a little big.
And it looks like you put the helmet and pads on an old skinny white man. You're like, it looks
he
awful.
Has the body of Adam Sandler, right? Like, it looks like
his pads look baggy. They don't look baggy on anybody
Never
else.
trust a man with baggy pads. Never trust a man with baggy pads.
And then also they're talking to him about winning, but at the end of the game,
my wife's in the chat room. She hates Aaron Rodgers. She hates him, so she won't let me watch anything Aaron Rodgers. She hates it with a passion.
Although I do like,
I like him as a villain for the league.
But also that he looks old.
Yeah.
Because for other old men, they're like, oh, look at that old man. He's still doing it.
He's a grizzled old QB.
Yeah, and
he's on the Jets, which is like a grizzled team, right?
And the last old man that we saw play football was like a Brett Favre.
Yeah.
That had a gray beard too, and like Minnesota Brett Favre.
The ladies loved him.
Yeah.
The ladies loved Brett Favre.
Although he was
Wrangler, baby.
He wasn't skinny. Like he still had weight on his face.
Country boy.
And that makes you look younger. Like being skinny makes you look older.
You have increased your age look in leaning out. I'm not saying that as a dig.
No, I have old man Ozempic face.
Now you look your age. You look your age. When you were chubby or Tom, you do look older now. But now you look your age though. Before you used to look like a baby.
Yeah.
Fat Tom with the stooge? Dude, I could never guess your age. 25, 22, 21.
Speaking of that, they put Drake May in last night, and he got annihilated.
I can't find that clip. I found a picture of him getting his shoes blown off. He got lifted off the ground.
I mean, his offensive line is horrible, and the Jets were just annihilating them. And when who's the Jets quarterback that Zach Wilson? When he has baby face too. So
the one who has the hot mom, the blonde.
Yeah. So he's got baby face, but so does Drake May.
I'd say May has more of a baby face than Zach Wilson, just a little bit.
And I don't know what it is, but
it's the redness on Drake May that Zach does not have.
Yeah, and I'm like laughing because like we live in a day and age where we expect these rookie quarterbacks to produce like right away, like start winning. It was like, and remember back in the day where like the rookie quarterback used to sit behind old man Brett. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did this.
Everything's accelerated now, right?
And you sat and they learned for 2 years, and then they finally got in the game. Like a fucking, that's how it was, and that makes sense.
It does make sense.
And now they're just like, get in there, win immediately. Oh, he sucks. Get in there. Yeah. And it's like, what are we doing to these kids? I call them kids, but
well, they are like, but not to sound like philosophical or anything, but is it the natural increase of pressure because everything is accelerated?
Yes,
the amount of information that we're pushing through our hands and our minds every day is accelerated, so everything's sped up. I mean, think about it. Your boys, like Tommy at 10, is a more mature 10-year-old than there's ever been.
Yeah,
because everything's accelerated.
They're exposed to more.
To more. Amazing at 9. Like, that's not what I expected a fucking 9-year-old to be. Everything's too accelerated.
Yeah,
slow it down.
It's like, how can you expect these guys to be? And then, but what screws them up is every once in a while, like C.J. Stroud comes in and is good on immediately, and then everyone's like, "Well, that's the anomaly." All these other guys can't do
fun.
Like everyone.
I like the way he talks. Stroud's good, dude.
Yeah, but it's like and who knows it because it's more complicated than that. It's like the system they're in. Like, of course, this guy's like team sucks. He's not going to be good.
But I think you said something without even thinking. You meant it. Maybe more than you even think. They are, for really all intensive purposes, like in that world, children. Like, it is completely different.
Yeah, they just came out of college, learning a new system, new coaches and players.
But beyond that, everyone around them that's trying to kill them, especially if you're a quarterback, is the greatest player of their position. Which doesn't, it's ridiculous.
And they all, it's funny too, because.
And they're little. Think about, remember when it used to be remember when Shaq went, this is a weird analogy. Remember when Shaq went in the NBA and everyone was like, oh, he needs to gain some weight, or he was too doughy or whatever? Do you remember after like 2 years, that motherfucker looked like a goddamn brick shithouse? Like, these are children that come in. They need to put on muscle, learn how to play, learn how to take the hit. It's completely different.
They're so
It's completely different.
And it's also like...
somebody mentioned like Bryce Young. Bryce Young looks like a child.
Yeah. Well, he's extra skinny too and small. Like,
and what's the other one? Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels,
He looks like the man that checked me out.
Yeah.
You know, the good-looking guy, the bag boy? He looks like Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the older I get, the younger these guys. It's weird. But it's like also the players their whole, like, okay, I was thinking about this last night. So every NFL player.
Did you really watch the game?
Yeah, I did.
It was kind of boring.
It
right?
was boring, yeah. And it was so boring that I bet the under, and then I was hoping that it would get close just so it would be exciting.
That's how you know you got a problem. Yeah.
Like, I knew it won immediately, and then I was like, all right, let's get some scoring just so I feel something. Like, it's too easy. But the players, so... Okay, think about an NFL player now. Every single one of them are famous, right? Just because they're in the NFL. And by that I mean, like, they all have a social media following. They all are known within their town. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they came up and they were good players in high school.
Probably were known in college.
Pop Warner. And then,
like, even now in college.
College.
You know?
They were, stars in college. Everybody talked about them. They had big social media following. Now, starting a couple of years ago, they maybe even gotten paid, so they've already, they're already rich.
And I think, and I don't know for sure, but I think that the actual organization takes over and has something to do with their social media once you are a pro.
So, because I started thinking about this, okay, I remember watching blooper videos back in the day of like NFL players in the 70s, like giving up on plays or not trying that hard. Like, for instance, you'll remember this. I remember when they would kick the extra point, like the offensive lines would kind of go through the motions. They wouldn't try that hard.
I do remember that.
They were just like, let them get. It was like almost ceremonial.
It was a ceremonial point.
Now, those players are hitting each other and they're trying to block as hard as they possibly can with all their muscle, because if they did block, like, that is on social media the next day. People are like tagging their names. Like, every play matters because everything they do is being scrutinized and could end up on social media, which is a way huger deal.
Yeah, it's a far more serious game now.
Like, so every player can never, like, I remember even Jay Cutler back in the day, like, where they lined him up in a trick play as a wide receiver, and the joke was he didn't even try, like, he just stood there because and he didn't need to, but everybody, so because he knew it was like there's no point. But the problem is he got roasted on fucking Twitter and the internet for so now all the players. This happened with a wide receiver too one time where he, like, a ball was overthrown a little bit and he didn't dive for it because he probably did the calculation. He's like, I'm not going to get it.
I don't think I can get it.
But they scrutinized the shit out of him because he's like, he's not trying. You're a millionaire. You need to try. So now everybody's trying their hardest. So back to, like, Drake May, you put this, like, rookie in just out of college, and all these players, the best athletes in their position in the world, are everybody's trying to make a play. Like, it's a blog game.
It looks like a mismatch too. It's it's the most cartoonish drawn white Opie Taylor looking young man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you have him in that position and he's just getting decimated.
Yeah,
poor guy.
And of course, and usually in a blowout, if this was the 70s or the players are going half speed because that game's over.
Yeah.
But now you have to go 100% full speed every play because it could mean it could mean money and exposure.
And it does feel like it's only football too. It doesn't feel like soccer does that. It feels like in soccer they give you enough time to maybe develop. It feels like, especially if you're a younger player or especially a striker, it feels like they'll put you in and they give you time to develop. It's not like they give you 2 games and they're like, well, come on.
There's older, and it's also like there's no position like the quarterback.
No, it's the most important.
So, like, in soccer, you could have your star player, but you still need help from the team.
True.
You can't do it all by himself. You just can't.
Yeah.
The quarterback can almost have a huge, they have the biggest impact on that sport over any other position in any other sport.
Also, just from a leader's perspective, the game's designed like that, right? He's the guy on the offense making the point. Really, he's deciding who gets the ball.
Oh, another thing I thought of too is how different it is now with the fame, what these players can do with their fame. So think about this, and I had to do some research for it. So Travis and Jason Kelce, Jason Kelce just retired, right?
Yeah.
They
love him, don't they? They suck his dick all over like Monday Night Football. That's disgusting.
They got $100 million for their podcast contract, right? So
is it on Wonderly or it's on one of those networks?
Yeah. So $100 million. So everybody's like, oh, why do he retire? Well, that's why. So think about I had to look this up. He got paid $14 million a year in the NFL, right? so let's just say it's a 50-50 split with Travis Kelce, right? So $50 million for 3 years. That's $16 million. There's $2 million more. Yeah. He is getting paid for drinking beer in his house, talking to his brother about football. Yeah. You know, like
not staying in a crouch position, getting slammed all over the field.
Like a push, doing the tush push against other giants of the strongest.
I'm not a football player too small, but I've always heard the center is the most. It's like umpire, or excuse me, it's like catchers in baseball. I've always heard that just that position of crouching all the time destroys your body.
Well, I mean, but think about he's like, oh, I'll get paid $16 million for doing my once a week podcast with my brother in my house in AC. Eating, drink, it doesn't even matter what you say.
Also, he's doing the podcast. It's not like when we say we're doing a podcast. Tom this morning was writing all of our copy and getting all the updates from all of our clients and making sure we had that. I'm in here setting up the studio. When they do a podcast, it's way different. They sit down, they talk, and then somebody comes in, takes all the equipment away, and then cleans the room, and then somebody edits it, and magically it appears, and it sounds way better than this hunk of shit.
And that's what he's getting paid. $2 million more than playing the football. What he got famous for? That's
what he's better at. He's better at football than he is this podcast.
Of course, but that's the media power that players have
for him,
now.
Man. Good for him.
And so
he is very likable. It was making me mad on that stupid Falcons-Eagles game. It was making me mad they were sucking his dick. But why wouldn't you? He seems like such a fun guy. He'll do like a party. You know what he reminds me of? Kind of like Jesse Wolf. He's just a fun guy to be around.
Now, of course, this is personality, and he made himself famous, whatever. But I'm just saying of course he did. You can make way more money outside of playing football, and the football's hard.
Chat room is saying, Crystal of Peace says, from our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. She says, did you see Travis Kelce is getting into acting? I did not see that.
Well, they're doing a shit ton of commercials. I don't know if you've seen them lately.
But he's already in acting, really, right?
And so I'm sure he's taking some acting classes because his manager said, hey, you could make a lot more money if, you can get into some sort of entertainment role of something, And then a lot of times they take acting and improv classes for later broadcast careers.
Sure.
Because these guys have been training football their life, and then they get thrown into broadcasting, and they're like, this guy's not very good. Shit. What do you think he's been doing?
He's stiff.
Do you know the people he's been fucking around with? And he is not used to presenting a PC broadcast to America.
It was like Julian Edelman at the Tom Brady roast, you could tell that guy was just waiting to take the lid off of it.
It's
there's no censor there.
And in the highest broadcast realms, they have to. They still have rules. Like Travis and Jason Kelce, they're not going to say anything too bad.
No,
but also it gets cut out before. They're not broadcasting live.
That thing is scoured so many times.
If something
whoever controls Goodell listens to it before it makes it out there. Trust me.
If some unsavory slang gets thrown out,
cut out immediately. Yes.
They'll never even give the chance for that to happen. Because guess what? These guys will fuck around and say some shit.
I bet you it also goes to a point where on that show, even if they started making jokes, let's say they started making jokes about John Gruden forwarding the Big Lips email forward, they'd cut that out.
They
would even if it's just a mention of something, they just no, we don't even need that.
Then we need to put the fucking McDonald's commercials.
100%.
They're paying.
And don't they have that
30,000 a commercial?
Don't they have that beer now?
Yeah.
I'll try all of that. I mean, I want to support all that kind of stuff. But
they're rich enough. I mean,
I just want to try it and see what it's like.
I mean, does this guy need $500 million? I think $300 million is pretty good for generations of his entire family.
I do just to go back to it just for a quick second, I do like that, in my opinion, what's his name? Ayahuasca. I'm blanking on his name.
Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you. Old Aaron, it's remember when he was going through a phase where people enjoyed him? He was doing discount double check and the cheesehead and the whole nine. I really do. I was trying to explain this to Andrea last night about how much I really do enjoy on the surface, because I'm certainly more of a stories guy, not a stat guy, right?
Yeah.
I love the idea of him going from Green Bay. I love the running out with the flag. I love the injury, off a year, come back. I kind of want him to do really well just so it makes everybody else mad, because he really is a villain.
Well,
and it's great.
To add to the storyline.
It's
for
so
sure.
great.
Yeah. And that's what it's a big fucking soap opera.
And he's so weird, and he's dated girl, all these different women, and they're all like trashing him and shitting on. I'm like,
It's mainly the ayahuasca, and the fact that that he doesn't give a shit. He's like a weirdo. There's some documentary on Netflix about him.
Yeah, I told you I wanted to watch it. Andrea said no.
I think. And this one could be different, but I think they pay to put those out about themselves, right? As a marketing thing.
I've never thought of that. Is that a thing?
Yeah. There's a huge business, and I think I forgot the person we talked to.
We need to pay for one.
That we did that.
No. We need a good one that makes us look good. That did not make us look good.
Yeah. No, I haven't told the story.
He's like, look at these stressed out fat guys.
Yeah. Well, we didn't pay that much.
Yeah, we did not.
If you got Aaron Rodgers money, make it look.
What
real
happened
good.
to What happened to old Kirk, the guy who directed our documentary?
I have no idea.
Do you know? Our good friend Dan Cummins he just closed up shop on his documentary.
No, he's doing one?
Yeah, he had a crew. I saw this 2 days ago on Instagram. His wife, Lindsay, and Dan Cummins were both saying that for the past, and this blew my mind, for the past 5 years, they've had a crew following them.
No, really?
For a documentary. I was like, 5 years? I was like, yours is going to be good. we knocked ours out in a fucking weekend. Like we did ours like a motorcycle safety class. We did ours like, it's like, oh, you want to concealed carry? I can get you a concealed carry in 2 days. Yeah. That's how we did our fucking documentary.
And then we
of shit.
And then we did some pickup shots when I was a real big bearded fatso.
That was actually what changed your life, right? It was the bearded fatso changed your life.
That had it looked weird. All of a sudden, like, why did Tom turn into a bearded fatso in the middle of the shit?
He's a fat werewolf.
5 years. Goddamn.
Theirs is going to be good. So they're our friends.
We'll talk to Dan.
We'll get a hold of them. We talked to Logan, their producer, this week on ACT. It's in the best of. You can go and listen to it. But hey, congrats to our good friends Dan Cummins, Lindsay Cummins, and everybody over at Bad Magic Productions.
Oh, one last thing about the NFL that I wrote down. I also remember...
Kirk, I'm joking around, Kirk. It's not a hunk of shit.
Do you remember when the players, like every once in a while, the camera would be like filming the players on the sideline while they were like getting water and there'd just be the announcers are just talking?
Yeah.
So I remember seeing this back in the 90s and whatever. Like players would like get on one knee and then like maybe like a equipment boy would pull out the Gatorade towel and shield their dick and they'd whip their dick out and just piss on the floor.
On the floor. Yeah.
And then just
can't do that now. You got to go there. You see him walking back.
Yeah. And you can't do it because everybody is filming you.
Yeah.
And everybody in the stands, they're all filming you. You can't just whip your dick out and piss on the goddamn...
I would do it in the blue tent.
They do it in the blue tent.
If they take me into the tent...
No, they have to go into a tent now.
Yeah.
It just shows you, like, when you step on that field, you're being recorded and scrutinized every... dude, when the practice, they catch a ball in practice, and be like, oh, that'll make news.
Everything.
It's crazy.
And I was even piling on this morning when we were kind of talking about this. Like, I've been watching that just for no other reason that it's the only thing on Netflix that I haven't seen that's slightly football related. I'm watching the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders Netflix show.
Yeah.
And they are, did you know that every single girl dancing, they have somebody videoing her to see how bad she's fucked up at all times?
Oh, really?
Yeah. The lady, the director of it, walks around while she'll be on the field. You'll see her. So if you're ever watching a Dallas game, you'll see this lady walking around with her iPhone, and she's just filming everybody just to fucking scrutinize it, make it better, scrutinize and make it better, scrutinize and make it better. I went to one of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders this morning, one of the ones that I like.
Yeah.
She's very religious, but she's like cute, and like it's like, oh, let's see if she's on Instagram. I go to her Instagram, 1 million fucking followers.
Yeah. That's a lot of media power. That's not bigger than we are.
Dude,
by 10 times.
She can work given that you can work deals. You have power.
Dude, appearance deals, like even marketing locally, like all of a sudden we have a bunch more power individually, and if you're famous, you could turn that into a shit ton of money. And that wasn't really a thing 20 years ago. I know that's apparent, but it's to the level now where every player, even like fucking people on the sidelines, like that security guard, the Eagles big doofus security guard.
The big doofus.
But
yeah.
that guy is now internet famous
yeah.
and social media, and I think he was internally, but now it's like that guy's a goddamn character.
Yeah.
That he could turn into money
he can
around Philadelphia, no problem.
Monetize. I was going to say weaponize, but he can monetize that for sure.
Yeah, he could be doing appearances.
Imagine holding the
podcast.
towel, though. You come off the field, quarterback Tom comes off, and I'm the water boy, and I'm holding the towel for you. I'm getting paid nothing. You're pissing on my shoes. Like you're standing there, you're one knee, you're peeing, I'm holding it, I get nothing. What do I work my way up?
But that guy, that meme nowadays, even though they don't piss on the floor anymore, but that meme, though, if that kid, he's the Gatorade towel kid, and then you turn into something, hey, shit, it is insane what you can now do.
You just brought up my next question.
What?
When you said shit, has any NFL player ever shit on the field?
Probably their pants, I'm sure.
No, I want somebody pulling them. You got to pull them down.
Maybe
and you shit on the field.
Well, I know
it had to have happened.
Lamar Jackson, they made fun of him because he apparently had to run off the field and shit. And he talked about having stomach issues.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and that's not fair. I like Lamar. And Lamar, I feel like Lamar is hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the worst things you can say to him is to clown on him for having belly cramps.
I don't think he cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you're embarrassed by that.
NFL player ever pooped on the field. You think ChatGPT knows this? It's going to search the web.
All right.
Okay, there's a lot. The one you hit the only one, but there's one more guy listed. Hold on. This is from ChatGPT. Let's see what they...
While there hasn't been an official or widely reported case of an NFL player explicitly pooping on the field during a game, there are some notable incidents where players had accidents or joked about it happening. Mark Schlereth, a former NFL offensive lineman, admitted to frequently relieving himself on the field during games, but it was more related to urinating in his pants rather than anything more severe.
Oh, yeah, these guys are pissing their pants out all the time.
In 2019, Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, left the field mid-game, and many speculated he needed to go to the bathroom.
It's called boo-boo.
Though he denied it, the rumors persist, with people making light of it on social media.
Everything is scrutinized.
I made your point. I made your point.
And so it is just a different...
Roses really smell like boo-boo.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to tell you about a father-son conversation I had with Tommy last night.
All right, I like it.
And also it reminded me how Tommy's brain is like my brain.
Okay. Yeah, and it's good that you have you need an ally in your house, buddy.
And then I also want to talk about Cadillac Pat.
Too much sensitivity. You've been dealing with too much sensitivity this week. We don't get a lot of rap, but when we do, it's normally like really, really good stuff. The name of this artist, I had never heard of them before. They sound like they're like a really, really young group. They're called Black Star Kids. It's all one word, all caps if you want to look it up. The name of the song is Wish. It's truly unique. I think you'll like it. We'll be back with more A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
MyEternalVitality.com. That's Dr. Powers and his team. If maybe you're not feeling right, you have low energy, you're getting older, it could be the chemicals in your body, which makes sense.
If you're a lady, you're very complex. I have an update. My wife went to Dr. Powers. Her hormones are out of balance. He's doing his best to dial it in. Her first prescription, she made it all the way through. She is now on her second prescription. He tweaked a few things, and I am here to report that typically, and ladies, you'll know about this, guys, we got lucky, we have penises, we don't have to deal with it. But less cramping. We did it. We did it. We're more comfortable.
Yeah.
We're working on being less hot.
I never thought I'd say less cramping in a commercial.
No, me neither. I know. Hey,
less cramping.
Hey, Tom and Dan. Less cramp.
Well, speaking of on the guy side of things, it's your testosterone, right?
Yes.
And if your testosterone is low, it could be causing you all types of problems and less quality of life and lots of things. But it's easy to get it checked with Dr. Powers. It's a free consultation to talk to him.
Yep.
If you tell him you're a BDM, of course you're going to get the Tom and Dan treatment.
Yeah,
Dr. Powers is a BDM. He knows.
We've had a bunch of BDMs roll through there. Also, it's not just testosterone. I mean, you could get that checked, but whether you want to do like peptide therapy or possibly do some weight loss, maybe you have a messed up belly, kind of like me. Maybe you need to investigate gut health or something like that. He can do that stuff for you.
Yeah, medically guided weight loss. Yep. Anyway, I've been telling you, Daniel, I'm convinced that celebrities and rich people have been doing this for years. It's and then now Dr. Powers is allowing us to do what people have been doing to keep themselves feeling young.
Yeah.
And
he wants you to feel good. There's no reason to feel bad. And again, it's just a consultation.
Yeah, exactly. So talk to him, give him a call. It's myeternalvitality.com.
Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom. So last night, I don't know how it got brought up, but
well, you like to do some into the night final thoughts.
Yeah,
Dad's final thoughts in the hot tub. This is not a new thing. You've been doing this for a minute, right? I'm jealous of this. Everything you have, I don't have. By the way.
Well, the grass is greener.
I know.
Maisie's putting herself to bed at 7:30.
She will.
Because she's like, I have to get quality sleep for work tomorrow.
She will say that, yes.
Shut the fuck up. I'm like, I'm going to bed. The light's off. Like, I have to, it's every night. We're like, it's bedtime. They're like, no.
Okay, this is your story.
They're like, oh, God. And then I'm like, it's the same time every night. And we gave you 15 more minutes. They're like, no, please. And they beg for it. And I'm like, God.
I hope Andrea's in the chat. Look, this is your story, but I'll end with this. I was asleep one night this week when Maisie came home from dance and woke me up to tell me goodnight.
Yeah.
There you go.
After a long day of work, she comes, kisses your forehead goodnight.
Yeah. She's like, oh, little baby.
she got a bunch of dancing dust all over her.
No, I was just sitting there watching TV. I fell asleep watching TV.
She's standing in the doorway watching her dad sleep, and she's shaking her head like, all right. She kisses your forehead, pulls the blanket in, goes like, shit, I got a shower now. Do my nightly stretches.
She's got to provide for the family. Okay, anyway, so you and Tommy, is it in the hot tub again?
No.
Okay.
It's in their bed because they...
bedtime talk.
Yeah, because it's the only time they want to stay up later, so they're willing to listen to me.
So you force your...
It's the only
theories.
time.
You force your theories.
And Crystal's like, talk
this
to him.
This is your real podcast, right? This is the real show. This is where you shine.
Crystal's like, talk to him during the day, not just at night. But I'm like, they don't listen during the day because they're playing video games or doing other shit. They're like, shut up, old man. They're like, but at night... They're like, they're scamming me because they're like, tell me some advice, Dad.
Oh, no, hold on a second.
Yeah, they're scamming me.
It's no different than me listening to all of my wife's dumb shit while I'm trying to fucking get my dick sucked. I mean, it is a form of communicative.
They just want to stay up later.
It's communicative manipulation is all it is.
And so last night and before this, we were and during dinner, we're talking, and then Crystal's like, "Oh, I'm signing up to become a chaperone for Max's trip to St. Augustine, his field trip."
Right.
Like
she's done that for Tommy.
She did that last year, and now it's fourth grade. Max is in
only
fourth.
Fair.
And so Mac's like, yeah, he's got fist pumping, and then
that's cool.
And then Tommy, and then she's like, yeah, and then Tommy's got his fifth grade mud walk.
The mud walk,
right? Yeah, which we've talked about before. You guys know what I think about the mud walk, but now we're staring at it. Yeah, I believe me.
I thought we vowed there are two things we wouldn't talk about on the show: politics and mud walks.
But I want Tommy to go on the mud walk,
he's going on the mud walk, right?
Well, he's like, I don't want to go on that.
Okay.
And then so we're like, why? Why not?
I know that guy.
Okay, this gets worse. So we're like, why? I mean, they're like, we're trying to explain like what a rite of passage is, and like, and they're like, all the other kids in your class are going. Like everybody.
Incubus is a band that was popular a long time ago that your mommy really liked. I'm sorry.
And then I was like, everybody, all the fifth graders go on the mud walk, like, and so you should go too. And principally, he's like, I'm not into it. I don't want to walk in mud or whatever. So then we're like, okay.
That I get.
So we're just like, but no, you'll want to go. We'll say,
Should we explain what it is, because we do have new listeners in the chat room right now asking,
I didn't do this
what
bullshit.
the fuck is a mud walk?
Okay, so apparently, and Crystal did this in Miami.
I did not do this.
I didn't do this. Daniel didn't do this.
I did not do this.
But lots of other people have done this, and especially in Central Florida.
I got yelled at because this is a fucking Florida thing.
So they go and in some place behind the Seminole dump, the Seminole landfill, there's like a trail of mud, and they bust the fifth graders, and then they all, like, I guess they put bags on their feet or like some sort of bags on their legs, and they walk through a bunch of mud. That's it.
Yeah.
And like
we don't know.
And then
Tracy would like me to remind you that it's near Modern Plumbing, modernpi.com.
And so they walk through the mud, and I'm sure a lot of kids have fun doing it. And it's you get out there and walk. What
is it, a challenge?
Every fifth grade.
No, we're not doing the mud walk show. I just fell into what I was doing last time we talked about this.
Yeah.
Also, we have other listeners from the chat room that are weighing in, saying that Melissa weighing in says that, we went to Universal Studios in fifth grade. Okay. Fuck you. Go fuck off.
Yeah. One Seminole County who walked through mud. That's all we did. So,
I think it's Orange County too, dude. I think it's my county too.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just didn't do it in DeLand. In Volusia, it was not a thing.
And so, okay, we've already done this bit. This is not about
Universal Studios.
This is not about
No. Take the mud walk away.
Stupid mud walk.
Okay.
Yeah. But I am serious about like wanting Tommy to go through the experience.
To participate.
To participate like everybody else. Now, now we kind of glossed it over, but and during our bedtime talk, I thought this is a good time to have a father-son lesson.
Serious dad question.
Yeah.
Dad to dad.
Yeah.
Do you, because you do strike me as the type of dad, because a lot of people don't, like we talk about you overthinking.
Oh.
Do you flag those type of things, and do you have a habit of trying to bring, like if you know let's say he's worried about something, do you flag it and bring it up at your nightly talks? Is that kind of your move? Is that your go-to move?
Yes. If I see something that there's
needs to be addressed,
if something serious, because mostly the nightly talks is just nonsense.
Yeah,
and I'm
we have good kids. I mean, like we're not bragging, but like there's not a lot of maintenance here.
And they're still young. I'm sure that in the future it'll be like there could be fentanyl in that. You can't smoke anything.
I'm like, you're pregnant.
And so I'm
knock on wood on that one.
I'm going to talk to him about this and the mud walk and why I think he should do it. Right?
Did you tell Crystal at all, or is you going rogue?
No,
going rogue?
Yeah, because Crystal's she's tucking in Max, and I'm sitting in Tommy's bed, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, hey, why don't you want to do the mud walk? He's like, I don't want to do it. I was like, walking in mud doesn't sound fun to me. And then but I was
Can I agree with that statement?
You know how hard it was for me.
Am I allowed to?
I'm like, I did a whole show on this, son.
Look, we're different in a lot of ways, but
of course it's not fun.
I got to go with Tommy as a guy that likes my sneakers. I like my shoes clean. I have on a nice pair of sneakers today.
But you put bags over.
Yeah, I got to give 1 point to Tommy on that.
Yeah.
But this again, not about the mud walk.
Yeah. So then, but I was like, it's not about like it's just about doing it. So then I was like, and I brought up me playing back in the Predators days.
Oh Lord!
Because I said so.
You went too far back. You don't have a newer example that you.
Well, it's also an opportunity for me to tell my son about my
victory story.
Al Bundy.
Let me get out my old Army uniform and put these badges on here.
Al Bundy will work his touchdowns in any conversation with a shoe customer. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm going to work.
It is kind of how I work in that I was the 25,000th burger at Hamburger Mary's into almost any conversation.
So I I'm like, I told the story about me playing on the Predators. I was like, I didn't want to do that at first, but I'm glad I did because I have this ridiculous story to tell that's absurd.
No
right?
bullshit.
It's
an insane experience that is probably a 1-for-1 because no other professional football team, honestly, no other professional football team other than the one owned by a crazy millionaire. No, seriously, it'll never. I know that I'll probably take some shit for that. It'll never happen again.
I don't even know how much of a millionaire he was.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a shyster, it doesn't matter. It'll never happen again.
I think Eric Rodriguez is for sure been pushing it.
But it'll never happen again.
Yeah. No.
It shouldn't have happened to begin with.
Social media would never let it happen. It just wouldn't. It'd be a laughingstock of the whole league. The whole league would be like, what the fuck?
Did you walk him through specific things that were hard?
I was like, I had to shower with men. I didn't want to do that. I don't know why I brought that. They're like, what? You shower? You were naked with them? I'm like, yeah.
I was jacking their dicks off.
I was like, people in sports do that together. They're like, why?
You might have confused them.
Anyway, so I tell them about the whole Predators thing, which, by the way, it reminded me of, I heard Jay Gruden on a podcast I listened to.
Oh, I love Jay.
And I'll plug the podcast. It's 3 and Out podcast with John Middlecoff.
All right.
He's on there. He did an interview. I was like, oh shit, it was good to hear Jay Gruden's voice. And then it dawned on, I was like, we need to get him on the show. Because if he's doing podcast interviews,
well, I would imagine it was kind of fluffy, right? Like they're not going to be.
No,
they're not going back in the past and digging up anything salacious.
No. And that's the thing I would never talk to him about out of respect for him. But I just want to find out about like him, the coaching and what he's, that kind of shit.
Straight up, you smoked weed with a hot girl. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. And then I remembered, I was like, God, I remember being on the fantasy football team with Jay Gruden and his son JJ, which is now a social media influencer that's got a ton of followers.
That's another weird one-off you have. That's another great story. I was in a fantasy football league with an actual NFL head coach.
Yeah, and I remember and he was letting his son pick because he was like, this may have been. I don't even know if this.
Oh, you're right. When you're right.
JJ Gruden
to the thing. I remember that story.
Because he was. I don't even know if he. I think he was in the USL Pro at that time.
You had other famous people in that group.
Well, it was a bunch of other millionaires, and it was like
no, there were other football people in that group. Weren't there?
I only remember Jay, and then like a bunch of the owner of Mako's. It was like
which one? Rough Voice
I don't remember.
Graffiti Junction one?
I don't remember.
There were 2 for Mako's. There was Rough Voice and Religious.
But anyway, so back to the Tommy story.
Yeah,
I'm telling the story, and then I started.
Do you feel like you're getting any headway with him? Did you feel like you were connecting?
It basically just got into me talking about myself and my.
Okay. That's called the Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer.
Yeah. I was just telling him about my adventures, and then I got back on track. I was like,
"That's all right. It's just like meditation. You come right back to it. Come back to the breath."
So then I was like, but I was like, I wouldn't have this story if I didn't, do this.
Right.
Like, so it's like, so sometimes you just have to do it.
You have a lot of that. We have a lot of that
to collect the stories, and then so the actual lesson I was trying to learn or teach them is that life is about like collecting memories and stories.
Should have said box of chocolate.
Sometimes you just got to take off running. You never stop. I think I'm doing this.
You are gumping out hard, man. This is your gump year. You've been running down the street.
I got it.
You got to grow your beard back. You crazy ass beard. Okay. So are you making any headway there with him?
Not really. But so then I started explaining. I was like, because I was like, all right, I wouldn't have this memory unless I said yes. I was like, how important is it to say it? Just do it. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I started going through all the memories we've created together. Like I was like, we go 4-wheel riding at Thanksgiving, and then
I was prepared to give you shit for this story, but I like the way you're doing this.
So I start listing.
You're giving him real world examples.
Yeah, I start listing all the memories we've made, right? And like we did this and the mountain climbing and all the
Don't
shit.
Don't bring up the inflatable kayaks. Don't leave that one out.
And I just started that I'm obsessed with doing these memories. So he's like, all right.
Well, you have a ton. You have like the things you flipped off. Did you bring up mountain biking at all?
So yeah. Okay. But I bring up all the memories, and then so this is why I love him, but also I realize his brain. He's like, yeah, Dad, I like all those memories that you brought up. I don't want the mud walk memory. And then I'm like, you got a point? It is
very simple.
It's not as good as all the memories I just described that you already have. And then I was like, but then I'm like, well, we're doing it anyway.
You probably put rappelling from the top of the Amway down there, right? Like you were listing out a list of really amazing things, not going to the dump with plastic bags on my feet.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, by the way, like that, I love him so much because
he's a little you.
Because he is a little me, and but then I don't want him to do what I did and not do shit because I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to my prom, right? I didn't because I was like, I don't want to go to this dumb shit. And then I just didn't go. And then that was the only prom I ever would have had. Even though now that I look back at it, I've just been standing there.
It's hard for you and I to even talk about this sometimes because like going to your prom is kind of nerdy, right? Like from you and I, like the way I grew up was like cooler to like not go to your prom, right? Because it wasn't cool. But when you look back on it when you are older, you're like, fuck, I just limited my experiences.
Yes, yeah.
To try and be cool. Cool to who?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think I was doing it to be cool. I just didn't want
interest in it.
Like I didn't want to because even the cool kids went there and did drugs.
Of having to do it though because follow me here with the prom. For you, I could see like not wanting to do prom because like when. In order to get a tuxedo on is as if to say, I want you to see me like this, which is the exact opposite of what you and Tommy have ever wanted, right? That you guys don't want to be looked at all.
Yeah.
You want to be a speck of dust.
Yeah, but
you can't be a speck of dust at the prom, is my point.
Yeah, but also I don't dance, and then like...
Phil Collins.
I
can't dance.
I didn't have a girlfriend that to bring, even like...
right. You're a loser.
Even though Crystal, I could have asked Crystal. She was a grade older than me.
You could have brought a hot older girl to the prom, and then you would have been a cool dude.
Wasn't interested. I think...
gay.
No.
At the time.
Because I didn't want to go to the dance. It wasn't about dancing. I didn't care about that. I didn't care about the people in my class.
Were you afraid they would pull you in and put you into something you didn't want to do? Or
I was just like, there's nothing fun about the prom to me. Like I'm not into it.
But you see it now, which is interesting to me.
I want to drink and go to a punk rock show.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, but that's what I was doing in high school. Like all my friends were older. I'd go hang out at their house party.
When you see it now, though, as a 42-year-old man, how does it?
I don't want my son to go through this.
Well, how do you see it though with your own eyes? When you think of the prom, does it still give you the same feeling? Is what I would ask. Like when you think about going, like if we had an event that was very much like a prom, would you still put up the barriers? Is what I'm asking. You think?
Well, now, no, because I'm an old man and I want to do everything to have the experience.
I know what that means.
But
butt sex.
If I'm 100% honest, I don't care that I didn't go to the prom because I know what it would have been. It would have been me standing there, awkward, not dancing.
Well, what if that's what it would be for Tommy?
Yeah, I know. I'm conflicted.
Yeah,
because
we got to. Okay, so I get it now. I get it.
This is where I'm at. So I'm conflicted because he's saying I don't want to go, and now a 42-year-old dad, Tom, is saying you got to go to have the experience. You don't want to miss out. Everybody else is going to have the mud walk. And then Tommy's going to be like, I didn't go. Just like the prom for me.
Right.
Although I never gave a fuck. I have no regrets not going to the prom.
And
someone's
it still
like, you
rattles you that he doesn't give a fuck about the mud walk, but it bothers you because you give a fuck.
I want him to give a fuck, but he doesn't because he's like me, and I don't give a fuck about it.
I get this one 100%.
So I'm it's spinning out of control, because I want him to have the experience, and I want to force him because I do think he'll be better for it, but I wouldn't have wanted that.
What's the better memory? Okay, let me throw this at you. What's the better memory? Going on the mud walk because you were forced or not giving a fuck about the mud walk?
I don't know. And the thing is, I am just terrified.
Because I think they both have value. Like knowing what you're into and what you're not into, there is something to be said about that. And if he's mature enough, and I know he is because I've talked to him, he's very mature. Like, he's the type of guy that I feel like if he knows he doesn't want to do it, I don't know if he's going to get anything out of it.
But maybe if someone would have forced me to go to prom, that I would have been glad. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. Like, maybe I say it now.
So you go to prom, you figure some girl, you go, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah,
you never end up with Crystal. You never end up with your family. It changes the whole trajectory. You're owning a power sports place. You're some dickhead motorcycle guy. You're like, so what's the guy down at Daytona? You're like Bruce Rossmeyer. You're a big fat piece of shit. You're like, come on down to Tom Van's Harley Davidson. You're fucking cheating on everybody. Then you're having Diddy-style parties where you're doing freak-outs. You're fucking coming next to sex shows.
And baby oil.
Everywhere. Thousands of bottles.
So I don't know. I'm leaning towards just forcing him to go because so he has that memory and it's like better for him.
What does he say when you say, like, okay, what would he say?
I'm trying to trick him in.
So if you say to him, no, if you were to put the hammer down, like, because you and I have different parenting style. I'm kind of a dickhead about it. I'm like, no, you're going. We're not going to talk anymore about it. And I just leave it at that. Like, if you said that, what would he do?
He's like me. He's like, why are you making me go? And he's like, I don't want to.
I don't know how to combat
And then I feel bad because I'm like, I know. I feel like you. This is stupid.
You break down.
I yell about it. I think in 30 years you'll look back and don't care. You'll be telling your podcast partner, I didn't care. I'm stupid.
But then will he be like, you're going to the laser walk because I skipped my mud walk? You know, like it's a cycle. You got to break the fucking cycle.
I don't know.
What if he has kids and then his kids go to do the fucking spacewalk, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't care about the mud walk, but I know they will regret not going on the spacewalk. You know what I mean?
They'll
break the chain. You're going to break the chain.
I know the government. They'll still be doing the mud walk. They were doing this shit.
The dump's bigger than ever.
It's a big mud.
You have to walk on the dump now.
Yeah. You walk through. They're like, I cut my feet on a beer can. Yeah. And so before we,
what about you could do what really sensitive parents do.
What?
The weirdo parents. You could do what weirdo parents do, where he doesn't want to do the mud walk. You don't want to force him to do the mud walk, so you do your own mud walk.
No.
We'll do our own in the backyard. You know, the super creative weirdo parents.
Yeah.
We'll do a hybrid model.
Because it's not even the he likes hanging out with his the school friends and going on field trips. Like I
understand he doesn't want to walk in the mud. I am
like,
one
stupid.
Do you remember the shit that I gave people when they fucked up this carpet? I'm 100% Tommy Van side on this. I get it.
Right.
It doesn't build any grit to me. It doesn't. It's a nothing. I don't want to put bags on my feet and walk in the fucking mud. I get it.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to take me to a place and let me walk in the mud that was like prepared specifically for us, barefoot, I'm on board. If you want me to walk over coals, I'm on board.
Yeah, because then it's like,
I'm doing
you could burn. You could burn your feet or whatever.
Or the sensory thing. Like, I don't know, but like just putting bags on my feet and walking in the mud. I think it's dumb.
Not extreme enough to label it as like a some sort of adventure or like a feat that's like climbing a mountain or something.
Yeah, it's like putting a 12-pack can, a 12-pack box on your head and walking down the street.
It's like it's barely a nothing. And I can understand if you never left your, neighborhood and then like you've never been in nature at all or never experienced mud at all in your feet. Then it's like, this is crazy.
God. Yeah. You're scared of it when you get there. Most people in the chat room, though, agree it was pretty fun and they liked it. So
I think he'd end up having fun.
Yeah,
it's just
he would.
And I think
you're on the right track. He's going to end up out there.
And I probably would have ended up having fun at the prom. He's doing what I do, where I predict the future.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And then I predict a shitty future. I'm like, I know what that'll be about.
You're negative Nostradamus. You're like, that's going to be a shit show. I'm not going. I like that.
So speaking of the future, I want to talk about Cadillac Pat. Cadillac Pat went on our cruise.
Are we almost at an intervention style level?
No. Yeah, this is different. So, and he's going to be on tonight's ACT. It's a good show. 40 minutes sitting with Cadillac Pat.
Yeah. We do love our cast of characters.
People did ask me on the cruise, like the Cadillac Pat got brought up in a group. I was in a group of people. We're all standing there holding court.
They're like, he's special.
And they were asking they were like, is it real? Like, is this his real personality?
Yeah.
Is
they
a
talk
put
about
on?
him like he's a tooth fairy. Or something, right?
And I'm like, he is that dude, but he's also the nicest guy in the world.
Well, he's a genuine and uniquely loving human being. Good guy.
Now he could have bodies underneath his backyard.
I don't really. When I say,
I don't know him that well.
Can I tell something to the podcast listeners? Whenever I say anything about a client, a friend, I'll take friends out. Client, acquaintance of the show, and I gush on them.
Yeah.
It's like purely for entertainment value.
We're telling the truth of what we know.
We only know them on the surface.
Yeah.
We don't really. It's arm's length.
Yeah.
We don't have time to get to know them the way we would need to vet them correctly.
I haven't done a background check on him. Found out what he's really about.
No, I would say I don't believe he's with the girl he was with for a long time. And I don't know. Maybe trust him a little less.
That kind of played into the conversation I was having with some of the women in the circle.
Yes,
where they felt they were like, because they're like, he seems like such a nice guy. I feel bad.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can hear as a guy, by the way.
I feel bad because
he's such a nice guy.
I feel like he's gonna have a hard time, getting married, starting a family with his shtick and the way he dresses.
It's hard for Ronald McDonald to get a
blowjob. Well, maybe to start a family, he can get a
blowjob.
Yeah.
Like, I never said that Ronald McDonald have a hard time getting a blowjob.
Yeah, but no
you
one.
go to a Burning Man dressed as Ronald McDonald, you're getting a blowjob. But it's going to be hard.
Settle down.
Yeah, it's hard to be in the pickup line at the fucking elementary school.
It's like, take your nose off, McDonald. Time to get to work. So they were worried about it, he's going to have a hard time getting married and starting a family.
What are these? A bunch of old grandmas? What are they worried about?
Well, because they have all families and everybody is, and that's what
they're seeing the lonely man.
That
was Seth for a very long time.
American Dream, I know.
No, that was Seth. Seth was the old Pat.
Yeah.
We would clown on him. Remember when he ate that Russian's butthole? And we didn't think he was ever going to find love, and he was. It was a nightmare.
You watched it happen.
That was my favorite Seth, by the way. That was my favorite Seth.
Yeah.
He was a fucking mess.
Yeah, no, I know. Now
we were worried about him too. We're like, this guy's never going to find. Look at, he's got a family, beautiful family.
Yeah, now he's got a dad, but he's boring. You haven't talked about eating one butthole.
That's true.
He just talks about work and sensei.
He's always sad. He's always he's always getting scammed by the Armenians. They're stealing his money.
Yeah, he's just stressed out, has a family like the rest of us.
Oh,
right?
Holy shit!
So then they were like, some of the women in the group were like, Cadillac Pat needs to it's time for him to put up his, hang up his Nike pumps, Reebok pumps, and put his claw machine, donate that, and get his house in order and and settle down.
Cut your fucking hair.
Yeah, and then I'm here to say, Pat, if you're listening, never do that. You need to lean harder into being this 90s superhero.
More Pat.
Yes, because that's the way people turn into legends. And all of us, we started families, boring. No one will remember us.
We just blend right in.
But they'll remember, guess what? In 40 years, Pat's going to be the buff, crazy old man at the end of the street that has been...
You don't think he'll gas out, though?
No, because I'm telling him right now, never gas out. Always make this your life's work, because that's how to live forever.
Most people agree with you. The chat room, everybody is agreeing. Everybody's fucking agreeing.
None of us will live. None of us will ever be remembered. I mean, even us.
God, I don't know where I stand on this. I do.
They're like, who are they? Drunky the Bear and Daniel from the Monsters.
Oh, no, you know what ruined it? Everyone has a podcast now. We're done.
We'll never be remembered.
No legacy.
But Pat will. Because he could, he'll be hiding treasures all around Orlando.
He already has.
He'll be the super buff. He'll have the fucking Legends of the Hidden Temple in his backyard. But it'll all be shitty and dilapidated.
It's got to fall apart. It'll be like a little Mike Busey. You got to have it rough around the edges a little bit.
And then it'll be local lore. And everybody in Orlando were like, hey, there's this guy, this buff old man.
But aren't there the crazy people that live in our towns?
Yes, but they'll be remembered forever.
Like Skunk Man down here. Like when I'm going to Johnny's other side, there's a guy that made the skunk car.
Yeah.
You got to pull his tail up to pump the gas into it and everything. Is that really the legacy you want?
Yeah, well,
you don't get once you're in there, though, there's not a lot of pivot room. Once you are pigeonholed as 90s superhero, Like Master Legend. There used to be a superhero here in town.
Well, you remembered his name.
He's a crazy homeless person. Yeah, but I think he's dead, is my point.
Yeah, but
once you go down there, it's a lonely alley, dude.
Yeah, okay.
That's a lonely alley.
Yes,
most of those people killed themselves.
But that's what it takes to be a legend. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll never be a legend.
No,
anybody listening to this?
We have too many people that care about it.
You gotta
have nobody. You have.
Yeah, that's a boring. Okay.
I like it when you get Italian. Hey, but that's a boring.
It's like everybody can have a family. It's a dime a dozen.
God, I'm both agreeing with
everybody I know has a family, a boring ass family and a job, and you save. We all are saving for some.
I don't know what I'm saying. What am I saving for?
I don't know.
For my daughter? She'll be fine.
Yeah, we're saving some for some retirement we'll never see because we'll be dead early because we've lived hard lives, drank too much.
Oh my God, Ghost of Manute Bull and me both said Master Legend at exactly the same time without knowing it. So we're on the same wavelength, absolutely. I just think it's a lonely. I get what you're saying.
That's what it takes to be a legend.
Is Pat I think he's too sensitive.
No, because if he gives it up and I'll be sad if I see Cadillac Pat where all his house is cleared, no claw machine.
Well, that would take a while.
He's like a regular. He's got some cargo dad shorts, and he works out on the weekends.
He's a very
little
attractive
bit.
guy.
Yeah, and then he's got a family and some kids, and he's just like
he's
the
down
rest.
At Universal, standing in line for Slinky Dog. He's sweating his balls off,
just like the rest of us. That's not how you get remembered. If he sticks to this path and he goes doubles down, I'm saying triples down, and we're gonna help him.
More lizards,
more 90s.
He needs a wackier vehicle. Cadillac's not. We need a wacky Cadillac.
Yeah,
a Wackalack.
It needs to be like Willy Bubbles coming Willy Wonka phone.
It needs to be the Wackalack.
Yeah, and he'll build it slowly but surely, and then he'll become that crazy old man.
This will help our show too. We need we need crazier whackpackers.
I'm saying he'll surpass our legend by far.
Oh yeah. But I just want to use him while we're around.
Yeah. No, we will. That's part of why I'm
I'm not pumping the steroids into the 90s superhero, not getting something out of it.
But I really do believe that he's got the chance more than any of all the rest of us, more than Seth, anybody.
Has he ever mentioned to you that he wants a family? That was the
yeah. It's real sad. It's real sad. It's real. If you, I don't get into serious.
I'm like, hey, Pat, you want a family? He's like,
Crystal does that. She's talking to Pat at dinner, like, hey, Pat, do you want do you want to settle down?
I saw her on his phone.
And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're trying to shackle him like the rest of us. Look at all this. We're sitting there, our wives are yelling at us with fucking kids. I go, nothing special about any of this.
That's true.
Billions of people have done what we do. Well, there's only one Cadillac Pat that I know, and the rest of us, same shit.
I don't even know of anybody even close to Pat.
No, I know. So I'm telling him, like, and then people are trying to, I feel like, convince him to, like,
you think we could
become normal. I'm like, fuck that.
Do you think we could get the Sentinel, the Weekly, the something? Do you think we could get him to do an article on Pat?
Oh yeah.
We got to get him. We got to get him some press.
He needs to go extreme. He needs to turn his house. He needs a Crystal Pepsi mailbox.
Okay, all right.
He needs to start converting his house.
Okay, like
the outside.
Well, up to this point, I believe that it's a normal house on the outside, and then once you walk in is when you walk into the 90s museum.
Claw machine, arcade, pinball, like all the shit on the walls, the payphones.
A bunch of dilapidated cardboard and shit.
But I think he's been holding back because he's not sure. He's at like the precipice of deciding, do I continue this life or do I tone it down and like just fall into the norm? And I'm telling Pat right now, do not do that.
Do you think that, and has it, I get the feeling from what you were saying earlier that, at least from your perspective, that the way he lives his life in this 90s motif has hindered him with women? Is that the feeling you got from
well, that's what we've been joking around with.
You and I joked about that, but you told me that there were ladies on the boat that were like talking like,
because you know why? It's he's too normal, and that's another thing, Pat. You can't.
Is that extreme enough?
No, which means that he wants a normal lady, and you gotta just go totally insane.
You gotta go. You know what that is? You gotta go Amazing Jonathan. You gotta get the wife that when you're dead is talking to the fucking computer consciousness and she like you gotta get a wackadoodle.
Yeah. That's
they fuck better too.
Yeah, that's the problem. He wants normal because he's a normal, nice guy, and you got to just go crazy. He's got to just succumb to it.
What if he can't go crazy though?
Well, then you're lonely.
I saw glimmers of it though. When Cadillac Pat was living with that old man,
because standards are too high. He needs to slam some hogs.
Yeah, he hasn't done that in a minute. What did I do with that butt? I think I got.
Anyway, I just feel like and there's another thing. I laughed about him, like he's living the life of Big, where
his whole house is toys. It's insane.
But
he has more toys in his house than a Toys R Us.
And then it's funny because when you're younger, you're like this, I want to live, be an adult, but have a trampoline and all the cool shit in my house and but then I started thinking how uncomfortable it is to sleep on a trampoline.
Yeah, it's hard.
I wouldn't be able to walk the next day if I slept on a trampoline. I'm 43.
Put a comforter on it. Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good at all. It's a torture, actually.
I can't do it with Maisie will be like, let's camp. Let's sleep on the couch and watch TV. I'm like, Daddy can't. I'm too fucking old, baby. I can't do it.
Yeah.
She can sleep anywhere. She can sleep on the linoleum. I'm like, I can't, baby.
It's a hard old man life to live, but he's built for it.
Yeah.
But he just needs to go full bore. And because that's the way you become a local legend and then live forever.
Do you think he'll take? I don't think he'll take our advice. I hope he does.
Also, I thought about this.
Andrea said we should not do a dating game for him. I always defy my wife. I think we should. I think a Cadillac Pat dating game would be fantastic.
And I know Pat's listening to this, and this is how to solidify your legend forever, right? When Pat dies, right? Yeah. I can imagine people, the whole town shows up to his funeral, right? And he's got. They bury him in his Cadillac. It's all he saves all his money for this end result, right?
Sure.
And
they bury him in a Tamagotchi.
yeah.
One tiny Tamagotchi. Katagachi.
And then there's instructions of hey, roll, he's in the coffin or whatever, roll me over. But this time he's ripped because he started doing TRT because you can't.
And it's a good shit now.
Yeah. You can't, it's inevitable as you get older. Anyway, so they roll him over and tattooed on his back, like Steve-O, is the instructions to his last hidden treasure.
Whoa!
And inside,
and it's in his asshole.
No, it's hidden somewhere in Orlando, and I'm imagining it's inside his McDonald's backpack.
Yeah.
It's like a thumb drive of Bitcoin he bought when it was 1 penny. You know what I'm saying?
No, you go and you dig through, you find where he marked it somehow, and you dig it all up, and it's this McDonald's backpack, and you lift it open, and you open it up. There's a little piece of paper inside, and you open it up, and it says, "All I wanted was a family." Right?
That's the
Stephen King. That's the Stephen King version of it. Yeah. That's the horrible.
That's the mist ending.
Yeah. That's the 7. It's the ending. What's in the fucking box?
Also, dig in my backyard. You'll find some other family.
They find bodies.
But if he hid a treasure on his deathbed, he doesn't even have to do it. But imagine that, and it would be a mystery. What's that treasure? There's an island. It's called Oak Island or whatever. That's still.
I was gonna say Treasure Island. You really punched me in the face.
There's still some legend about Oak Island treasure that people still conspiracy theorists.
Did anybody end up finding the David Blaine treasure from his book?
I don't think so. Unless they did and no one talked about it because it was stupid. But
I can find out.
But if Pat lived his whole life crazy, had the crazy 90s house, and then died and left treasure, that is, your legacy lives on forever.
I do agree with you.
Because generations of people would talk about there's a crazy old man that hid some treasure. There's $100 million in Bitcoin.
I just want
somewhere.
Pat to be happy, right? If he started a family, that's great. If he continued to be a legend, that's great. But there's a part of me that definitely agrees with you. I think of it very simply like this. It's should I have ever cut my hair? The answer is no.
Yeah.
It was great when I had long hair. I get what you're saying. The commitment that he's done for this, I think far outweighs. He's been doing this longer than he hasn't been, right?
This is what we get wrong as a society. We're so caught up on happiness. We're I just want you to be happy. Everybody can be happy. A legend. No, not everybody could be a legend. And
I can't disagree with that.
Tiger Woods, right? Probably not happy. Best golfer for all time. Maybe
Does this prove,
forever.
Would you rather be a legend or would you rather be happy?
Oh, legend for sure.
That's interesting.
Because you can't. Look, Happy's a dime a dozen.
I get what you're saying.
Listeners, like, you're happy. Happy.
Somebody did find the treasure. Check this out. I didn't know this. This is like news to my ears.
The treasure from David Blaine's book, Mysterious Stranger, was eventually found. The book, published in 2002, contained a hidden treasure hunt with clues leading to a $100,000 prize. Blaine encouraged readers to solve a complex series of puzzles and riddles. The treasure was found in 2004 by a group of readers who had cracked the puzzles. They discovered that the prize was buried in a box at Green River Cemetery in Greenport, Long Island, New York. The winners received the cash prize and were acknowledged by David Blaine for their achievement.
Huh. I didn't know that's a very lackluster. Wow. Okay. Hey. All right.
I acknowledge you for your achievement.
Yeah, great job. Here's your $100,000.
No poof of smoke. Something.
Yeah, I gotta have a poof, right? You gotta have like one poof of smoke.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got a couple dump them out things to talk
we
about.
got a bunch of little silly things to handle. We might talk about some comedians and stuff like that. The name of the band, this is like a new ska band I'd never heard of before. This is the Calamatics. Calamatics? I think that's right. The name of the song is Love, Lies, and Alibis. And these love, lies, and alibis. See, I told you. We'll be right back with more A Mediocre Time right after this. We've worked with this gentleman for quite some time, but now might be the time that you need to talk to him. It's Brian Zeimel and Streamline Mortgage Solutions.
Yep, streamlineflorida.com is the website. His phone number is on the Tom and Dan logo.
Yep.
You click on that, it goes to his cell phone number. You could text him or call him at any time. I just talked to him this week, and of course, like we were talking to Bart about the Fed dropping the rate.
Yeah.
And he was explaining it to me, and he was like, well, it doesn't necessarily mean the mortgage rates are instantly going to drop,
right,
but it's a sign that they will and are going to drop.
Yes, it's happening, but now would be the time to get your plan in action.
Exactly, and that's what Brian said. He's like, the number one thing is because the market's going to start heating up now. The mortgage rate is dropping, and now's the time to come up with a plan and talk to Brian Zeimel, figure out what the best plan for you is. If you are looking to buy a house, get that pre-approval. They just come up with a plan with them.
Yeah.
It's free to talk to them.
I know it sounds insane that the two guys that have been, your party friends for years are now suddenly telling you to, quote, prepare. But seriously, it will help you. And it helps Brian, too, because you get all your ducks in a row. Then when it comes time for you to pull the trigger, you're ready to go.
Oh, and he also mentioned, he's like, if anybody bought a house in the second half of 2022, their rate's probably real high.
Yes.
And then he's
correct,
like, and so now come up with a plan to refi. Because Brian Zeimel will remind you, and he'll let you know once you talk to him, get in his system, and he'll let you know the best time to refi. Yep. Daniel's done it with him. Yeah.
I wasn't ready. When he first came on as a client years and years and years ago, I was not ready to use him at all. So he basically just kept me on file and then putting me in a calendar. And then he called me one day and he's like, "It's time."
Yeah. And you could refi. Listen, I have no idea. Talk to him, but I think a year later, when it doesn't really matter, you could refi multiple times. Again, I don't know.
Yeah,
talk to Brian.
We don't know nothing.
But I know Brian knows, and he'll lead you to the best business decision for your life.
He will. And the best thing that can happen is you call Brian, and he's like, "What did Tom say?" No.
He'll tell you.
He will tell you.
Yeah, call him. It's streamlineflorida.com.
That is brand new music from The Voids that came out today. If you don't know who that is, the band The Strokes.
Okay.
Julia Casablancas, he's the lead singer. That's his new band, I said to the chat room, that is his newish band. Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan.
So, Daniel, you were showing me this social media thing that's been spreading around Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently claiming that there are vandals out there spray painting the outside of cars.
Well, it's I don't know if it's, I guess you could look at it that way. It looked as if we have an epidemic of bad lovers in this town that are cheating on each other, and then the way to get back at each other is to spray paint the car.
Oh, it's I dig my key into the side.
Yeah. It's
the song.
I always forget her name, which is crazy disrespectful. Here's the first one. Let me turn the volume down. Here's the first one. You can see this on YouTube.com/Tom and Dan Live.
So it's someone else filming, and then it says cheater on the side of a car, spray painted like hastily.
Yeah, and it is again a lowered for stance. Is that a BMW? I don't know. But it's lowered for stance. You can definitely tell that somebody put some coilovers or something and lowered that car.
Yeah,
they also wrote like dick on the back. They spray painted cheater on the side. So I saw this on Reddit, I want to say like 6 or 7 days ago. And then this morning, as I was sitting here, waiting for us to, start talking, I saw this one. This is a new one. Both of these in Winter Park. Both of these around the Park Avenue area of Orlando, Florida. This one it says, bitch, tell me. It's a white car. Looks like a Volvo, and there's different sides of it. They drew a dick on the top of it and wrote cunt.
Yeah, and all different color spray paint.
All different color spray paint.
Or seemingly it's spray paint.
Yeah, and this is the second car that I've seen that has this, and I was sitting here as you walked in, and I looked at you, I go, I don't believe this. This is not real.
Someone did this to the car hoping that it would make some social media headline.
That's what I think.
It's not I'll dig my key into the side, jealous, or like a mad girlfriend or boyfriend.
Who buys those color spray paint, number one? Who buys that color spray paint?
Also, it's in the middle of a public parking lot, which would be hard unless your car was parked there overnight and you did it at 4 in the morning.
There's absolutely zero overspray on the floor. Look, man, I spray paint a lot of shit. My daughter's in dance. We spray paint shit.
And so me and Daniel started researching. They make spray paint that's removable. It's like chalk spray paint.
Like, here's a bunch of it I have up for people to see.
And so you could wash it off. So basically, it looks like spray paint, but it's not permanent. It's not good. So you could essentially spray paint your car, cheater, or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, we think this is happening, and I think Daniel's right. Like, people are doing this just as people want like views and things to go viral for no reason. Really,
I don't even think it's want. It's desperation at this point, right?
Attention, But that's been going on for years.
I mean, it feels like these are young people that are doing anything and everything they can think of to be creative.
So then me and Daniel came up with a brilliant marketing idea.
I didn't come up with it. You came up with this. You put your marketing hat on.
So then I was like,
you had a eureka moment.
We will offer a cash reward.
Yes.
To any BDM that buys this removable spray paint,
yes.
I was like, and then spray paints your car, and spray painted BDM,
or Tom and Dan were here,
So
don't fuck with Tom and Dan. The N word,
not
the C word,
no.
The C word, then the N word.
Not too far.
Double N word.
No. Don't put that.
Okay, don't put that.
No, because I don't want that.
Tom said, don't put that.
I don't want that to be spreading around the internet. What the fuck? Tom and Dan listeners are racist. Just put BDM. Make it look like other BDMs.
I'm joking.
Make it look like other BDMs, spray painted BDM on your car, and then see if we get some.
Okay, so your marketing idea is that we're gonna flood Reddit and social media with a string of rando. Spray paint fake spray paint people's car to make it look like.
But no, don't do it to other people. Do it to your own car.
Do it to your own car.
You have to do
That's the key. You have to do it to your own car.
So do it to your own car.
Well, I mean, I can't control you if you do it to other people's cars.
No, don't do it to other people.
I don't want you to, but I mean,
no.
Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I'm not your fucking dad.
Do it to your own car, and then we'll have cars around. And people are like, "Oh, what the fuck?" People are spraying. What's BDM? And that shit would work.
I think it would work
because you're right. I think
it's not real, dude.
These people are faking some like jealous spouse putting cheater on the car.
It's just like scorned lover, and it's like you could even it's a
weird thing to even be motivated to do.
Christine brought up a good point, and she does a lot of crafting, right? Christine in our chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or on YouTube @Tom and Dan Live. I trust her opinion. She uses spray paint probably more than anyone I know. Butler uses spray paint like every day when you're crafting. It's really hard to control it. So, like, if you look at this other one. Like you look at like they did a really amazing paint job. You know what I mean? Like they're like
they did this and then dropped his car off.
Yeah, this is fake.
And then it's kind of smart in the fact that you let society let it go viral. Because you're just...
That's natural, right?
You're just dropping the car off and they're like, oh, look at this car.
TD Bagel.
And yeah, but it's weird because they're motivated by... There's no advertising here. It's just they're like, oh, we did this, we faked this. But they're not even in the person posting this, which is a random stranger, is getting the clicks.
It is, but
they see it viral. So like they see how many people looked at it that someone else posted. So they're not even getting the benefit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like an arsonist watching the church burn, right?
It's
nobody knows you did it.
Like, what's the motivation to do this? It's just
it's desperation it's desperate attention. It's like even if it's attention that's
not on you.
It's adjacent to you. Even if it's just like you're watching the attention hit one area and you can look at that area and you're like, I made that.
Yes, yeah. And that's weird
sickness. That's fucking sick.
Now, but it's a little nothing. Like if you could just pressure wash this off, then it's like that's very little effort to get some sort of viral thing out there.
Well, I mean,
right?
the chat room mentioned it. And I was going to bring it up. Remember when North America's biggest attorney, John Morgan, has billboards that have fake spray paint on them. To make you think that he's been vandalized. I mean, this is not a new...
Yeah, they probably got the idea from him.
They might have.
And by the way, that came from a $100 million marketing agency.
Yeah, maybe more than that, dude.
That was their idea.
Maybe more than $100 million. They're the biggest in North America, I think, now.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Like, he does commercials in every state, I believe, now.
Yeah. Just to make the billboards look like someone vandalized them with a pirate hat. Stupid. All right. $100 million.
All right, what do you want to go to next?
I had... what do you have in your list?
I wanted to mention the story about let's do the mention of old of a famous of Carlos Mencia.
Okay.
Yeah. Like this came up in the stand-up page on Reddit where just I don't know this to be true. I'll just say that up front.
Yeah, it's just some Reddit post.
This is some Reddit post, but the lady's husband weighs in, other people weigh in. It's a long thread, but basically, word on the street now is, and this is, I'll just read the post. The name of the post is "No, seriously, touch my dick." My husband and I went to a comedy show last night, and afterwards, the comedian invited the attendees to go to the bar attached to the comedy club. The comedian is an old, washed-up, fat, married, joke-stealing Honduran who was supposed to be funny and offensive, but I wasn't offended until after the show. He put his arm around me and another woman and invited us back to his hotel to do Molly. Then he suggested Coke. Then he asked which hole we wanted him to lick. Our husbands were 5 feet away, and he saw us with them just moments before. Then he asked if he could watch us two go down on each other. It quickly escalated to him whispering in my ear and telling me to, quote, grab his dick. Then again, with more dominance, he said, "No, seriously, touch my dick." All the while, he was leaning on me and the other woman, and he had his arms around us. This all transpired in a minute or two until my husband saw my face and jumped in and pulled him off of us. I'm so grossed out and appalled, but this is the first time I've ever hung out with a comedian after a show. I really love stand-up, but this experience has obviously tainted my feelings. Is this typical behavior for a comic? Yes. Yes, thank you for your email.
The comics reading. Yes, that sounds about right.
Everyone in Orlando, I know.
That's the standard.
That is the standard. He gave you the 221.
Now, again, we don't know if this
we don't
is true,
know if this
because
is true or not.
I will tell you a lot.
And it's a horrible situation.
A lot of people do dislike Mencia, and even when we've had him on the show, like we do get pushback, like still from the old joke shit. People are like, "Why'd you have this guy?"
We've had him on I think we've had him on 4 times. The last time he was in here, he did the story where he said he wanted to kill himself, and it's just now when he comes to town, I try to not be available. I just try to be like, "Oh, Cadillac Pat's over." We're trying to get Pat to be more. Yeah, it's fine. We don't know this to be true.
I always I don't. Because of my interaction with him, he's always been nice.
Yes,
and
that is true.
I don't. True. So that's all I could speak about. But if that happened, I mean, that's his.
Yeah.
Especially
that's a yikes.
Especially,
and then her husband got on the page, and then she started weighing in. Like at first, like obviously she didn't say who it was, and then later she does say who it is, and then her husband says who it is, and then he said he had to like physically remove him and say get the fuck off. Oh my, come on,
yeah.
Come on.
How do people even party that much at, Mencia's got to be 50.
Palmiotti was hitting it like that on the
I
top
know.
of the Tony Palmiotti was the Honduran comedian of our cruise. He was partying crazy.
Yeah, it's just the people that can still continue to get at it at older ages, and I'm like, that's been pretty impressive.
Real quick, I've been holding on to this one for a minute, but I wanted to tell you this. I think I had this from last week. I went to pick up Dansby from Rangers Pet Outpost. He was staying there during the Tom and Dan cruise. It really hurt my feelings because they open up on Sundays only for 2 hours. So you can get your dog.
Okay.
It's like a special thing that they do for like people that are like chimp crazy for their pets, like I am, where I have to have him like immediately.
Yeah. They're coming back from vacation.
Yeah.
So you got 2
I
hours
want him
window.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to wait till Monday. I don't want to wait till Tuesday. Andrea, because she's a cold-hearted bitch, will just be like, leave him.
Yeah,
we'll get him Monday. And I'm like, no, I got to get my boy. So I go to Rangers, and when I get there, I'm looking around, and the parking lot is fucking slammed. I mean, slammed already.
Okay.
And they open from like 2 to 4, okay?
Yeah.
It's like a small window. So I park my car, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm 1:55, you know me. I'm going to be there. 1:55, I'm going to walk. I'm going to put my hand on the door at 1:59, ready for this thing to open up. So I'm waiting. We get there about 1:58. I'm looking around. I start seeing people get out of their car and go up there. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to miss my place. I get out of my car to walk up there. There is no exaggeration. There's no less than 7 small, like me, men all going in to get their fucking dogs at the same time.
I was like, everybody's
It was
like
an army of Daniels, all little men
all right.
going in to get their pee-pees. All of us in a line.
So there's
not one fucking woman.
Okay.
All men.
Okay.
And all little dogs. All 6 or 7. May have been 6. Not one big dog. All men. Like bigger guys, tattooed guys, but mostly littler guys like me.
Yeah.
Pee-pee dogs. And when
That's
Dansby came out, he got confused, and we went to another little man because there's too many little men around there. It was like too many.
So you think there's a bunch of little men out there that love their pee-pee dogs?
This is Andrea's theory, not mine. Andrea's been saying that there are. She said if you were to go through the city of Orlando and you were able to instantly poll and see what the percentages were, that it would be more guys like me with little dogs. Like that would weigh heavy. That would be your majority.
That all have like little men that like
little old men with pee-pee dogs. Yes, dude, it's a thing.
That is. Thing.
Am I early? Am I like an early onset old man pee-pee dog?
Well, everybody has to start with their original pee-pee dog.
No, but I've been there for a minute. Though.
Well, but they have 2. They're just further on.
Okay, all right.
In their pee-pee dog career.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So they had to start somewhere. Yeah. They started at your age.
Not one woman. Not one. I bet all the women were like, "No, we'll just get it Monday." But that kind of pissed me off.
Rich old ladies do have, but they have like 5 pee-pee dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like little men have one loving pee-pee dog.
Like Mark Marrow.
Yeah.
And his loving dog, Rocco. Yeah. Like, that dog, Rocco, he's still making posts about that. You know what? I feel for it. I write back to him every single time. It breaks my heart.
Like the old man that got his pee-pee dog, that alligator bit his pee-pee dog, and he went and ripped it out of his mouth.
I'll fight to the death.
Yeah.
I think I would. I think, like, look, I'm not the world's most menacing human, right? But if Dansby and I were down here at Lake Baldwin, and a gator got him, I think I would risk my own life. And
every old pee-pee dog owner would.
I think they would.
They'll jump in there.
Yeah, they would. No troll left behind.
But
same body style.
The older ladies, I think they have like 5 pee-pee dogs. They're like Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, my mom kind of like a little bit of that, but like most of
my mom had a bunch of pee-pee dogs.
Yeah, but you guys she's out of that phase now, right?
Now she's got medium-sized pee-pee dogs.
Yeah. Do they get bigger with ladies?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Most of the old ladies in my mom's choir had the bigger, like fancy dogs, like a poodle or a collie. Those are the big two they had because they're very beautiful. Almost they look like women. Like, that's misogynistic to say, but like a poodle and a collie.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at them, I give them the gender female. And I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
When I look at Westies, I gender it a male.
Yes.
When I look at a Basset Hound, always a male.
Yeah, there's some dogs that you just call, female.
Doberman? Believe it or not, I always go female.
Yes, yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why.
Female Doberman.
But then I saw Snoop Dogg, I'm like, okay.
It's because they call them bitches.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, here's a thing that is kind of like, this is how Max is like me, and then I'm mad about it.
Why my children are like me and why I'm mad about it.
And, I'm not mad about it. I'm like, that's going to cause some issues in your life. So I take him to breakdancing last night, and at the end of the class, the teacher says, by the way, his teacher now is female, and she was one of the announcers on the Olympics breakdancing.
Jesus Christ. Where's this kid? Where is he? Is this the Olympic Center out by Claremont?
No, it's not that nice. It's $50 a month, by the way. I've made that joke before. It's like,
oh my God.
I'm like, this is $10 for an hour.
$50 a month.
It's nothing. Like,
my God.
Like, that's what that was a day of tips on the
cruise. Yeah.
But anyway, so the teacher's like, we're doing a breakdancing competition in October, and they give me the date,
nice.
And they're like, we'll send you and they're like, if you want to participate, just show up, and we'll, Max can do the competition of his age.
I love it.
And so Max is like, all right, he's like, so I'm like,
look at that.
Do you want to do the competition? He's like, I'm in. I'm going to do it.
Hell yeah.
So during dinner, we're talking to him, and they're like, Max got a breakdancing competition. And by the way, this is something Tommy and me, by the way, would never enter
how much
some
money
dance
for
competition.
You? How much money for you to enter a breakdancing competition?
I mean, it would be a ray gun. I'd be kangaroo. Yeah.
He'd be bouncing around.
But it would be a lot because I'd be embarrassed anyway. But Max, he's like, whatever, confident. He wants to do it.
I like that.
So then Crystal's like, brings up a suggestion. She's like, maybe it would be good if you planned it out, instead of just getting in the middle and just doing whatever comes to your mind, you just plan out your minute time and then go from move to
the way you
choreograph it.
Kind of like the way you write a bit, get a beginning, get a middle, get an ending.
And I'm sure that, I know freestyle, rap, you're not supposed to choreograph it because that's not freestyle.
I think you have outs.
But then there's I think there's certain
what
verses.
to rhyme with trigger. I'll tell you that right now. No.
So I think breakdancers like this, they have a plan of kind of what they're going to do, the moves they're going to hit.
I think you should.
Ray
Gun did.
So while Crystal was explaining this, Max holds up his hand. He's like, stop. And he's like, quote, I swear to God, he said this. He's like, I'm a super fast processor. Don't need a plan. He's like,
I know that guy.
He's like, I'll get in there. I will know instantly what to do. Don't need a plan. Thank you.
I know that guy.
Your suggestion is bullshit.
That's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard a mom say.
And then, confident as fuck. Didn't even hey, maybe I should plan it. I was like, but I'm a super fast processor.
What did Crystal say though? She just accepted
right.
it. Okay.
Yeah, because she's like, I guess we'll just
right. No plan B.
Yeah. And then, so I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, he's like, why are you so confident in this? Yeah, you had never been in a competition. Why aren't you nervous? Why aren't you?
That is a gift, though. And I was telling you earlier, if he can throw the practice on top of that, he'll crush it.
Yeah,
because the confidence is an important thing to have.
No, but what will happen is that he goes and he's like, all right, go to Max. He's like, oh shit, I got nothing.
I'm about to go 5,000.
Yeah. Or maybe he'll push through. And then it'll be like, oh, see, I told you.
Can I ask you a serious question? Does it matter? Because, and I'll ask you this. If he gets out there, right, and let's say let's just say, for instance, that his version of super processing and yours is different, right?
Oh.
And let's say he gets out there and he thinks he's processing at the highest caliber, but you're watching him and you're like, whatever. Like, does it matter?
That's what our listeners do. Our listeners sitting back there like, oh, okay.
But when he gets
done, you got another theory? You find that interesting?
But if he comes to you and if you say, how do you think you did? If he goes, I fucking did awesome. Well, he's not going to say fucking, but if he's like, I did awesome, does it matter?
Well, I guess, the judge, if he doesn't win, then he'll know.
He'll know. He'll know.
I guess he'll just learn that way, whatever. And then, but you don't want
to
to
hurt you, though, if they're like...
but let him fail, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if he's super confident, I'm like, God, why are you so confident about that?
Now, for the sake of the story, I hope he goes out there and super fast processes the shit out of it and fucking crushes it. Because that would rule. I would love that.
Yeah. No, but then,
Then what are you going to do? Then you have you can't tell him to practice. You're like, oh shit, I got to go with the super fast processing.
Yeah. There are kids in the class, though, I've seen that have like a athletic advantage over him. It's like kind of like Maisie. That time I saw Maisie playing on the kids' playground in the backyard.
Right.
And they were all in their bathing suits. Maisie's got a ripped 6-pack. She's muscular. And then then Tommy and Max are standing there as babies.
Well, but they don't dance.
No, but I know. But I'm saying, but also Maisie got some good genetics.
Yeah, she got her mama's legs.
That's some athlete genetics.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill going to run fast at 5.
He was very quick.
I don't think
he's a quick lad.
He was all doughy and fat, and then learned to run. I think that shit. He was born with that shit. Tyreek Hill had abs his whole life.
Well, we got something to look forward to. We'll see how it goes. Are you going to dance?
No.
You're just there for support.
By the way, Tommy calls me stiff man.
Why stiff man?
Well, it's obvious.
You could bend, you could touch your toes and stuff, right?
They laugh. The whole family laughs. They're like, stiff man over here. Can't do like he's fucking with me. I think it's funny because we all fuck with each other. But so now I'm stiff man, and that it didn't come from the show or anything. Like it's all like he came up with stiff man.
Oh, he's gonna be. He's got the tongue. He's gonna be the talker then.
Yeah.
Get that boy a microphone. Should we get out of here?
Yeah, we should.
Is there anything we need to plug?
We got Beer Fest and Sofas and Suds. By the way, there are openings if you want to enter your couch and Sofas and Suds. If you go on Facebook, search Sofas and Suds, or maybe drinkoutwestend.com, you'll find a link. But if you find it on Facebook, you'll see where you could sign up.
Yeah.
There's a form.
Facebook is the easiest way. That's how I was clicking through.
Or just send me an email, tom@tomanddan.com. Of course, you have to have a couch. There's rules about
there really are rules. I mean, it's like it's easy stuff. But.
And I'll put you in touch with Mike Smith. Mike Smith is the one that puts it all together. Or you can find Mike Smith directly. But there are openings. There are recliner division openings. Like that's an easy way. Like if you don't want to go through the trouble of getting a couch and build, because some people it
can be a lot if you're not technically inclined.
BDM Josh built us a couch with steering and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But it started with just couches with caster wheels. But if you actually want to win, you got to get a steering wheel, probably.
Yeah, but there's two ways to win. You can go fastest, or you can be coolest. And I'm urging everybody this year to decorate your couch, get a theme, get costumes. It's an easier thing to do where it's like less dangerous, honestly, because and it's just as you still get a trophy and everything.
And also, you got a small business, theme out a recliner, put it in your business name.
Yeah.
Guess what? Me and Daniel will be promoting
it. $125 to get in. It's very affordable.
Yeah. Now you have to go through the hassle of getting a recliner, putting wheels on it. That's it. But then, but other than that, you get some free advertising. There's thousands of people out that day. There's probably 3,000 to 5,000 people that come out to
maybe more. Because people filter through all day. Plus, your showcase.
The pictures.
Yeah, the amount of pictures. Plus, you're showcased in an area where people just kind of filter through. Everybody wants to get their picture taken with the couches. As Thomas said before, we like it when you do really funny political couches. No, I'm kidding. We don't like any of that.
So it's an inexpensive way to advertise your business, or if you just want to have fun, there's that too.
Is Bustecker building one?
Mo is getting a couch. Is
Bus riding it?
Bus is going to be pushing it.
Oh, he's going to be pushing it.
I think they're going to get. Usually, you get like the lightest person. Bus is too long. He's tall as shit.
What about Lil Mo, the puppet?
You have to have a human. There's rules about like who has to drive it.
Maybe Ross can drive it with the puppet.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
He definitely has to get Lil Mo on there.
Yeah, you got to get Lil Mo on there. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I don't think there's anything else we need to tell you, but we appreciate you. For those of you that went on the cruise, thank you again. BDMs, the app is fixed. Tom figured out the problem. You shouldn't have any issues this weekend listening to anything, but if you do, as always, please let us know. show@tomanddan.com for all comments and questions.
Yep, we will see you on Monday's BDM and ACT shows.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't publish that. It's mediocre.
I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.